Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about On Swift Horses. It's a romantic drama based on Shannon Pufali's 2019 novel. Starring Daisy Edgar-Jones, Jacob Elordi, Will Poulter, diegocalva, and Sasha Calle, it's a dual narrative film following Muriel and her brother-in-law Julius post-Korean War. Quick heads up, this review may contain the occasional spoiler, but I'll do my best to avoid them. The film starts in Kansas with Lee returning from war and proposing to Muriel. Lee's American dream is to move to California with his wife, become homeowners, and have a family. He dearly loves his brother Julius and wants him to come with them. Julius is an interesting character because he's very elusive. He doesn't want to be tied down and he wants to roam and adventure. Muriel admires this about him because she's too afraid to do that herself. In fact, she admires him a little too much. She's secretly in love with him and is hurt when Julius strays from the trio's plan. Muriel and Lee settle in San Diego and begin saving up for their dream home. They wait and hope for Julius, but he never comes because he chose to settle in Las Vegas instead. Working for a casino, he meets Henry and falls in love and writes to Lee about his gambling winnings. In search of a thrill, Muriel begins gambling on racehorses. That thrill isn't enough, and Muriel searches for more physical thrills with her neighbor Sandra. Personally, I think this narrative is pretty solid and a realistic representation of repression and affairs. Is it for me? Not really. I don't like movies about cheating, but it's still a solid narrative about desire and social conformity. Again, this film takes place in the 1950s. You couldn't openly be with someone of the same sex back then, or there would be legal ramifications. In fact, homosexual acts were decriminalized nearly 50 years later in 2003. So during these time periods, a lot of people lived secret lives. I appreciate that this film spotlights the secrecy and shame Julius and Henry or Muriel and Sandra have. I think the dual narrative might not work for some people, but it worked for me. Since there's two stories in the film, it's understandably a slow simmer and can occasionally feel disjointed. However, I think the runtime was largely good. For just under 2 hours, I feel like I got to see enough of each narrative and understand the desires each couple had. I think one of the strengths of this movie is that the characters feel like real people with real emotions. Life is messy and people are messy whether we like it or not. I think Jacob Elordi is magnetic. He's a handsome guy and has incredible chemistry with Daisy Edgar-Jones and diegocalva. When he needs to be passionate, he's passionate, and when he needs to be intimate, he's also intimate. When he needs to be sleazy, he's sleazy. He's a troubled guy, he's human. I think diegocalva is also great in this film. I thought he was incredible in 2022's Babylon, and I think he brings some of that passion and charm to On Swift Horses. Henry adds some depth to his relationship with Julius because even though he's happy with him, he still has further passions and desires. He wants to get rich, and the allure of cheating the casinos in the area is too much. There are tons of relationships like that around the world. People risk everything for a thrill, whether it's cheap or expensive. Daisy Edgar-Jones is the star and thematic heart of this movie. As Muriel, she's largely quiet, so her performance hinges on her longing. Because she's not loud or overtly rebellious, it's her interior that pulses beneath every glancing gesture. My favorite thing about her character is that she's not flashy, and that makes her feel real to me. She looks like a person who's stuck in a life that she doesn't want, and she's trying to self-sabotage to find a way out. I respected that she gained more independence and confidence throughout the film. However, there is a fine line between that and cheating. Sasha Calle does a good job as Sandra. As a supporting character, she fuels the passion and desire Muriel has. She's a bit of a mystery, she's confident and flirtatious, and draws Muriel in with her subtlety rather than seduction. Sandra is who Muriel wants to be. She's grounded and has already discovered who she wants to be. She doesn't chase her desires, she just lives them. Again, I don't condone the cheating in the film, but I can at least recognize that Sandra is a symbolic glimpse of what life could be like for Muriel. The last cast member I want to talk about is Will Poulter. I think he's an incredible actor and I loved him in this year's Warfare, but I think he was severely miscast in this movie. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but he feels out of place with Daisy and Jacob. Lee and Julius don't look like siblings, and they certainly don't feel like siblings. I think he's a great husband and very caring of his wife, so it's really unfortunate they're a bad match and he doesn't even know it. He's the guy in the film that I feel worst for. Everybody's making secret moves behind his back, and that hurts to see. He's working, providing, and he thinks he's achieving the American dream for his family and his future family. But Muriel is out having fun with Sandra, only coming home to Lee because it's safe, not because she loves him. Lee, my guy, I'm so sorry. Muriel should have been brave enough to not marry you so that you could at least find the right woman for you. Visually, I think this film is very stylistic. We get California's golden hues, neon-lit Vegas casinos, and cozy Kansas interiors. These distinct settings each serve a purpose. Kansas is cramped with tight blocking and reinforces Muriel's repression. Vegas is bright, tacky, and chaotic, and perfectly represents Julius's instability and impulsiveness. San Diego is open, breezy, and natural, emphasizing comfort and safety. I think this film does a great job of capturing the messiness that is life with slow pans and tight close-ups. Intimate moments in motels have soft lighting, making the scenes feel more natural and raw. The visual language in this film is about restraint and atmosphere, like framing characters in doorways, mirrors, or through blurred foregrounds to mirror their emotional states. I also think the costume design is good. Muriel begins in pearls, pressed blouses, and high collars. shoulders. As she gains more freedom and confidence, she moves into softer fabrics and open necklines. Again, this is all subtle, but you can see how she transforms as a character. Finally, the soundtrack also deserves a mention. It's rich and era-specific. The music emotionally charges the passionate scenes between Julius and Henry. It emphasizes the feelings of desire, and it enhances the feeling that the story is a memory that will fade with time. The soundtrack is never overdone. It's dreamy, melancholic, and atmospheric, and it leaves room for the narrative and the characters to be imperfect. On Swift Horses is a beautifully shot, emotionally layered film about longing, secrets, and the messy pursuit of desire. It's not a movie that ties everything up in a neat bow, and it feels very human because of that. I don't like the cheating in the film, but there's still a lot to admire here. The performances are strong across the board, with Daisy Edgar-Jones carrying the emotional weight of the film with subtlety and depth. Jacob Elordi and Diegocalva bring heat and humanity, while Willpoulter adds a layer of tragedy to the story. Stylistically, I love the cinematography, production design, and costume choices. They all work together to elevate the emotional resonance, and the score never shouts for attention. Instead, it floats alongside the characters like a ghost, enhancing their silences, their passions, and their regrets. At the end of the day, On Swift Horses is a slow burn about people trying to outrun the boxes they were put in. Sometimes they win, sometimes they sabotage themselves, and sometimes they just keep running. This film isn't perfect, but it has nuance, and for that, I think it's worth watching. Thank you for listening to my review of On Swift Horses. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.